Hey there, everybody. Rambling Collector here. And honestly, I just wanted to make a fun video this time around. So, to give some context here, last week I recently went to Comic Con, as of late. And for those of you who don't know, I am a massive fan of Comic Con for various reasons. Not just being able to just dress up and have a bit of fun, be a different character for a day, or even just go around seeing a bunch of people in costume, feeling like I'm amongst my fellow nerds. But recently there has been one thing that myself, as a massive book collector, never knew about Comic Con, and it has become one of the best parts about it, in my personal opinion. That being getting to meet individual authors as well as comic creators. And I've got to say, there is so much talent that I did not know about before going to these cons. And I've got to say, some of these indie authors that I have met have been absolute joys to meet. I have enjoyed getting to meet them, and even now, if I see them again at other cons, letting them know that I have read and reviewed their works is definitely an honor to tell them that. And I love seeing the smiles on their faces when they know that someone out there has read and reviewed their works and is hoping to spread them to somebody else. But more than that, though, the subject of this video that I want to do is I just want to show off some of the cool Comic-Con pickups that I found. And some of it isn't just self-published works. There are other books that I've seen there that genuinely grab my attention from other publishers or things like that. Now, this recent one that I went to for Lexington Comic-Con, oh my god, it was such a fun time. If you want the full experience of that one, my girlfriend and I actually did a live stream a while back on our other channel, Nerdy Shogun, where we talked about our full experience of going to Comic-Con, some of the people that we met there. It was a blast. But for this video, I'm just going to talk about some of the books and comics that I collected and walked away with. Because normally I'd walk away with a bag full of books. I mean, come on, guys. You know me. I'm a collector. But let's get started with first comics and manga that I found that you might hear about later. So let's start off with Necroholic by Brian Lee. I actually ran into this guy during the second day of Comic-Con, and I gotta say, while I haven't read this one yet, I'm genuinely excited to see what happens here, especially because I love indie comics. I feel like, first of all, they don't get enough attention, but there's always something unique here going on. Unfortunately, I only got the one issue, though, out of two, but if I like this one, I might get another issue of it. We'll just have to see what happens. But next up, we will have Amiculus, A Secret History. And unlike Necroholic, which was a single issue, this one is a full-blown graphic novel. Am I excited to talk about this one? Yes, especially as it dives into what is called the secret history of the Roman Empire. It could be fictional, could be based off of nonfiction, who knows? But all in all, I'm just excited to grab this one because I love graphic novels. They're a lot easier to read and collect, from my personal opinion, rather than just trying to find a whole bunch of single issues. But after this one, which first of all, I will say this much, the artwork here is extremely clean, and I love that. Very professionally done. Now, moving on to manga-wise, though. Oh boy, do I have some interesting ones to tell you guys. First up, there is actually an indie comic, or indie manga here, called Zokusho. And there are currently about 5 volumes of this manga out right now. And I got the first 2, just to give it a try and see what it's like. And honestly, I will say this much. Self-made mangas are fantastic. Especially because, unlike regular manga, which is usually read from right to left, these ones are the normal left to right for America. So having American-made manga is fascinating, and I might do a small video on that sometime. Stay tuned for that. Especially because this one here has a more mafia basis to it, so always exciting. But next up, we have one that some of you may know, some of you may not, but I actually found myself the first volume of Prison School. I've heard many things about this series, mostly with the anime, but I did not know there was a manga for it. Having said that, now I have the first volume of it, and let me just say, this sucker is thick. I mean, I know some manga themselves tend to be the equivalent of full-blown novels, but this alone, the first volume of a manga series being this thick, something tells me I'm going to be in for a wild ride with this one here, especially if I continue this series. But next up, we have the first 3 volumes of I Belong to the Baddest Girl at School. Now, there was a vendor there who was actually selling, like, packaged up sets of manga and light novels. And this one here, for some reason, it really caught my eye. I was genuinely curious to see more, especially since myself, I'm getting more into the romance genre. So even if this is just a simple rom-com to it, taking place in school life, I'm kind of curious to see more, especially since, of course, I had the first 3 volumes. Who knows? I might enjoy it, might continue with it, we'll just have to wait and see. But now, let's move on to the regular books, which I'm sure some of you will be excited to see. So let's first start off with the indie authors, whom I have reviewed some of their books in the past on this channel. If you don't know them, I will leave links to them as I go along with. First of all, we have P. Anastasia returning with a new series that she has made called The Poe Prophecies. For those of you who are fans of Edgar Allan Poe, this series might be worth the read to you, especially since now she officially has already 4 books published altogether. And quite frankly, if you want something unique, she's definitely the gal to go to, because I reviewed 2 of her works so far. The first one being the Fluorescent series, which is a romance sci-fi series, which you can get all 4 books in one, easy peasy. Another one that I have read and reviewed, Exile the Sky God. So, besides this one here, I also have the hardback edition of Fates Aflame, which y'all might see a future review on sometime as soon as I can get down to it. But honestly, hearing about this one on her Facebook was super fun to see, and I cannot wait to start this series at some time soon. Next up, we have Stevie Jo, with the second book of the Angels of Death series. I met her there at the con, figured I'd go ahead and check out her second book. And needless to say, I'm kind of excited to see what happens, because the first novel that I read from this woman, I finished it within nearly a day. I'm not even kidding. It enthralled me to keep reading. So I'm kind of curious to see how the story is going to keep progressing in book 2, that being False Gods. I'm kind of excited to see more. But speaking of second books, though, David Joel Stevenson, really pleasant guy. I reviewed 2 of his works already, with Services and in Dirt Walkers as a single video duology review, as well as Victor Boone Will Save Us. Speaking of which, he has finally released the second book of this series, Victor Boone Must Die. And in comparison to the first book, give me a second here. So I can just pull this sucker out. In comparison to the first book, which is about a decent size, Victor Boone Must Die is like double the thickness of the first one. As you can clearly see, if I can just bring it up here on the camera. Yeah, it's about double the size of Victor Boone Will Save Us. And if you guys are curious to see that review, go ahead and check it out. This was a fantastic book that I wholeheartedly recommend. And knowing now that there is a sequel to it, I want to see more. I'm genuinely curious to see more about this one because, again, superhero novels are a rarity. But with that being said, let's move on to 2 more that I actually met at the con that I have never met before. And, quite frankly, I'm genuinely curious to see what we've got here. We've got Markman's Home, done by Ronald R. Van Stockham Jr., with illustrations by Stephen Eilers. And this one here, I'm kind of curious to see, because this man had a bunch of books published already that I'd never seen or heard of before. But this one here, just with the spooky details in here and the cool artwork in between. See if I can find a good page for it. Yep, wait a minute. Yes. The simple yet fascinating artwork to it. I'm really excited to see what happens next. And finally, we have, since I've been getting into the horror genre thanks to my girlfriend, we have West by God by Tyler Bell. And just look at this artwork here. If that doesn't give you a good creepy vibe, I don't know what will. But in all honesty though, I'm excited to see what this holds, because the horror genre now that I fully dived into it, I am honestly hungry for more. I'm hungry for more good horror stories wise. And this one here might be able to scratch that itch. We'll just have to see what happens. But all in all, that is all the books for now that I've collected from Comic-Con. Both book-wise, comic-wise, and manga-wise. And for those of you who might be curious to see when I'm going to review these things, just stay tuned. I might at some point have a new manga video out for you guys, which would be mostly just me on camera, talking about some of the manga that I've recently read, most of which is either parts of series or just like single volumes that I've had sitting on my shelf for a while. Yeah, I'm working on it, guys. I am gradually burning through my collection as quickly as I can, whenever I do have the time. But for those of you who follow my channel and you've seen some of these works that I've reviewed in the past, let me know what your thoughts are and what you think might be in store. If you have read these books before from some of the authors that I've mentioned, please let me know. More than that, though, if you are curious to see some of the authors that I've already reviewed on this channel, please stay tuned for more. And, of course, I have one more book coming in that I've ordered from a personal author friend of mine, and I'm really excited to see what else they've made. There are so many good authors out there that genuinely need more attention. And honestly, I'm hoping I can do more like book haul videos like this at some point, just to either talk about some of the new additions to my collection, or just kind of go on a bit of an overall ranting tangent about some of the more recent ones that I have read, rather than just individual reviews for everything. I'm pretty sure that might get a little bit exhausting for you guys to wait and see just what exactly I've been up to, so I figured I could probably use this as a way to supplement. But let me know what you all think. Did you enjoy this video? Are you excited to see some of these books in future reviews? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, or subscribe if you're curious for more. And to those of you who have followed my channel for a while, thank you so much for what you do. Knowing that you support this channel means a lot to me. And I cannot wait to see what you all think of some of these books I'm planning to read and review. I will see you all in the next video. This is Rambling Collector, signing off for now. And keep up the great work, my fellow readers. Have a great day.